Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 117.
117.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
Great place for Christmas or Halloween shopping if you're looking for a costume or something.
Or birthday shopping.
That's right. That's very true.
And PixieVacations.com. This is a time of year to be booking your Halloween and Christmas vacations to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, and such. And they offer concierge-style service.
Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency, the best deals on tickets in town. Check them out. We checked out Universal Studios Florida mainly to see Harry Potter and the Escape
from Gringotts.
From Gringotts, that's correct. That always is a tongue twister for me.
And there have been not very long lines lately.
Right. We were able to ride it 3 times. It was the first time we've ever been able to ride. We sort of waited out the big crowds. And boy, oh boy, did we pick a good week.
Well, can you believe the lines before were like 7 hours?
Well, this was the advertised wait here, 20 minutes.
And we waited about 20 minutes.
Well, when we first got there, it said it was 40 minutes, but we waited 20 minutes. We did the full queue. There may be a few tiny spoilers, but I'll try to keep it spoiler free. We
don't know anything about Harry Potter, so it'd be hard to do too many
spoilers. Well, that's
spoilers.
True, but what I'm saying is when you go through the standby, the regular line, you see a sort of like rock and roller coaster where some characters come out and, you know, they don't get a Black Les Paul or anything like that, but it's the same effect.
I know, I was waiting for Aerosmith to show up, but this is the queue area in the first room you show up in.
Right, with all the goblins and things like that.
They have animatronic goblins who I guess everybody's counting money. And
they are spectacular. I mean, I was so impressed and you could see look at the lines here. It was wonderful.
Isn't it incredible? We were 3 times in an hour. But 2 times we went through the full queue.
Oh, and let me get back to what I was saying about the full queue. After you see that first pre-show, then they bring you into a lift where you're supposed to go down into the earth. And it reminded me of the old hydrolator at the Living Seas.
Right.
So it was great, a really cool effect. And then you pick up your 3D glasses. And the theme of this attraction seems to be stairs.
There's a lot of stairs. And I don't remember reading about so many stairs. And I had broken my ankle earlier this year, so I get a little nervous standing on so many stairs.
Once you think you've seen all the stairs you could possibly see, no, they throw some more. In case you didn't get enough, here's some more stairs. Even after the end, you go up to go down. A lot of stairs.
I know,
be prepared to walk.
How can you have to go up to go down? Why don't you just go straight? And you would think that would be it, but I don't know.
So I highly recommend when you do this for the first time, even if you do have to do a little bit of a wait, do the standby. You want to do the lift. You want to see the pre-show movie. You want to really be immersed into the attraction. We don't know a lot about Harry Potter, but they sort of brought us up to speed about what was going on, so we understood enough to enjoy the ride once we got into the ride vehicle.
I didn't really understand very much of it, but that's okay. I enjoyed the attraction. We had been told by many of our friends that the queue was much better than the attraction, but I enjoyed the ride, and I enjoyed the ride as well.
Well, here's some more, again, because they wouldn't let us film on the ride, I'm just showing the goblins in the queue while we're talking about the ride. I just don't want to forget about how awesome this is. I mean, you could spend 15, 20, I'm sure people spend hours in there because I'm sure there's been long queues in the past, but a lot to look at with these guys, and they're very well done.
And I like that every so often they'll look up like they're looking at you.
Right. It's very creepy, actually.
And all of them, they all seem to look up at one point or another, like right there, they're kind of looking around, and then they go back to counting money.
Now, if you do the single rider, you'll get on much, much quicker, but you'll miss all these great effects here.
Right, and I like the single rider. We only did it once out of the 3 times because the last time was also really a walk-on by the time we rode.
And we figured we might as well do the full experience since there was nobody there. So anyway, we've waited long enough. Let's get into it. What did you think of the ride?
Well, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, if we're going to brave the stairs 3 times, we both really liked it.
Right.
And it reminds me a little bit, in some ways, of Indiana Jones in California, theming-wise. So.
Right, and I would agree. I like it much better than Forbidden Journey, which sometimes makes me feel a little motion sickness.
And a lot of our friends were like, well, the queue is so much better than the ride, but I didn't agree with that. Yeah. I thought they were both equally good.
I didn't agree either. I actually want to go on it again. To me, it's right up there with Spider-Man as one of my favorite Universal rides, so I really enjoyed it. There is a look at the ride vehicle, the concept art, and here is the actual ride vehicle. Kind of looks like the Indiana Jones
that's what I thought.
queue area.
And, you know, it's part coaster, part a lot of simulator. So it's really
Kind of like the Mummy in some ways, but no Brandon Fraser, don't worry.
It reminded me more of Indiana Jones and the Mummy, but just for myself. And it is 42 inches for kids, and you wear 3D glasses, so not everybody will be able to ride, but I think most will.
Right. So anyway, 2 thumbs up for us. I'm glad we were able to finally do it. And, you know, come on a slow time if you don't want to wait for 5 hours.
I don't know if it'll be a 5-hour wait again, but we'll see.
So after the excitement of Gringotts, we checked out the Orlando Eye.
And the Orlando Eye is going to be 400 feet tall, which is it's similar to the London Eye, but here you'll also have Madame Tussauds and the SeaLife Aquarium all opening next year, and this should be open for spring. But iDrive Live is a lot more than that even. Like, there's all kinds of restaurants opening, so this should be really an incredible area in just, you know, like 6-7 months.
So while we use our imagination to sort of imagine this giant wheel, why don't you tell us some facts and figures about it?
Well, I mentioned it's going to be 400 feet tall. There'll be 30 capsules, 15 guests in each capsule, and it will be about a 20-minute ride.
Wow.
And there'll be a 5-minute pre-flight film that's
Flight.
in pre-flight
Hope
film.
there's no flight involved.
And 3D. So, and again, right in this area, you'll have the SeaLife Aquarium and Madame Tussauds. It's all Merlin.
And that was the Yard House. You're still seeing the Yard House. And beyond the parking garage there is King's Bowl, which we were just there a couple weeks ago.
Right. I mean, there's been so many places like Red Robin opening over here.
So
also,
excited to finally have a Red Robin close by.
We haven't been there yet. I mean, we have to get over there. I didn't get my birthday burger.
That is a travesty.
I know. But we'll be back here to show more, you know, as it progresses.
Yeah, a lot to come, Now, we thought we'd have a little fun with this next segment, a vintage segment. We're going to go 10 years in the past to the year 2004 and take a look at the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
And I've been going for almost 20 years, but there's a lot of things that I don't remember. Like the balloons, I don't really remember the balloons, and I really like the pumpkins they have outside now.
Well, I know you remember this old banner.
I do.
I should also mention this is the first time that Denise is seeing any of this footage, so it'll be fun to watch her react to it. These pumpkins here that they have up there, they often gave trouble because if it was windy or something, they couldn't put them up, and they would have to, you know, bring them really low and anchor them. So you know how it is in Florida with the winds.
Right. The new pumpkins are so much nicer.
Right. Probably easier to maintain.
And there's the scarecrows. Like now, I actually like the newer scarecrows.
Well, those are more
that.
corn stalks.
Right.
You know, so very different. You still had your pumpkins, but not scarecrows.
It's so weird to go back again 10 years. I would have gone to a party in this season, but it looks different than I would have remembered.
Well, the thing is, this was later. This was probably October, and it was a dark. It was very dark because of the time change, and you could see lots of people in costume.
In all these years, I've never gone in costume. Maybe next year we will.
We'll have to rectify that. This thing was pretty cool. Jack-o'-lantern bag. I don't really know what that means. But
Look how busy it is. I don't remember ever going to a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party that this was this busy.
well, see, this could be Halloween night even.
And it's dark. It's much darker than I think it is on Main Street now.
Now, we're going to go back actually one more year, okay, to 2003. This was Halloween night. Do you remember this? This was what they did with the fireworks before Hallowishes.
Did she go on the, right? Yes, I do remember that.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, I always love to see the witch. Here we go. The witch is going to fly out into the regular fireworks show. So it was very different. It was very scary to see the witch flying over you like this.
Did you prefer Hallowishes or this?
Well, Hallowishes, of course,
Hallowishes is a
tremendous.
fantastic show.
I love the Hallowishes, but this, you know, this was great in its time. This was what you're seeing is the very, very last time, Halloween night, 2003.
Wow.
Or 2003.
And here comes the Headless Horseman.
Right, and you notice he's actually running. You could see the sparks in his hooves, and he's going the opposite way back then than he comes now.
Is he? Which way is he going?
He is going to
Liberty
Square on his way out, instead of coming from Liberty Square going down Main Street at you.
And I remember I was told not to. Everybody was told not to take pictures, but it looks like people were taking pictures. So I don't know why they told us not to.
He used to gallop so fast, and as you saw, the sparks, you know, from the hooves. I love that.
And here is Mickey's Boo to You Halloween Parade.
Now, the Boo to You Halloween Parade back then had different music. It didn't have the Boo to You.
Which is my favorite music. That's fantastic.
Right. That debuted in 2005.
And you can see that the characters like Pooh actually dressed up, and Tigger, they don't dress up anymore.
Right. Well,
not for the parade.
Not for the parade. You can meet them as a meet and greet with their Halloween costumes, but they're just in their regular attire.
They're not these costumes.
Well, it looks like they're ready for trick or treating. They have their little pumpkin, their little plastic pumpkin sack there.
I don't know why they aren't in their normal meet and greet during the Halloween party during this.
Now, this tree was just retired this year. Up until 2014, you'd always have the tree with the characters, and you had Rabbit there. Is that Rabbit?
Yes.
That's Rabbit.
Can you say this is retired, though? Maybe they'll bring it back next year.
That's true. Or maybe they'll use it for the Christmas parade with some snow on it like they sometimes do.
Right. We don't know why it isn't here this year, so we don't have any of this for 2014.
Correct.
For as much as I always think about the things that are missing from the parties now that used to be there, I have to say that I sort of like our parties now better.
Right, right. I mean, they've evolved. You know, in 10 years, they've certainly evolved. Here's Peter Pan and some of the rest of the Lost Boys. And
now they're actually on the pirate ship this year.
Right. They had been walking for many years. So everything evolves. Do you remember this big pumpkin?
Vaguely, yes, and I probably have pictures that I took of it a number of years ago.
They used to have it in the Christmas parade, too. They rethemed it for Christmas, so every year you'd see this, but that's been, like you said, that's been retired for now a number of years.
What was it in the Christmas parade?
I think it was a giant ornament, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the villain, now this is completely different. I'm not quite sure what these dancers represent. I believe they have evolved to be the Villains Mix and Mingle. The music you hear is similar to Villains Mix and Mingle music.
And what is it? The villain parade float looks completely different, and we're going to see that in a minute.
Right. It's still the same theme, but the villains themselves are playing the instruments, and now you just have random spooky guys playing rock and roll music on their instruments. You can tell it's very primitive looking compared to the villain float now.
Well, not only the villains themselves look primitive looking, they look a little different than they do now.
Right. Well, they've moved. You know, now there's Maleficent dancing. Now she's been moved to the actual villain float that's towards the very end of the parade.
It's funny because Maleficent, now you think of Maleficent as Angelina Jolie, not the even any time in the movie she was beautiful. This one is not, with all the green and the nose.
That's right. But it was still nice to see the villains. A lot of these villains are still appearing today, so they haven't lost any of their appeal, that's for sure.
And now they are in Club Villain.
Right, all new for this year, Club Villain, where they dance around and you can just walk up and meet some of the villains. Or the Sinister Soiree for a $99 fee.
Well, I'd rather just meet them at the
Diamond
Horseshoe.
Some of them, like Maleficent, are not in the Horseshoe,
right,
in the Evil Queen and Captain Hook, so you have no choice. Not quite sure what these performers are supposed to represent. They look like spectro magic characters without being turned on, so to speak.
And here comes the witch.
That's right, from Snow White.
And I have never, even this year yet, met the witch.
Well, we're going to a party tonight, another Mickey's Not So Scary, so maybe we'll meet the witch. I did meet the witch, and oh boy, it was the first time ever for me, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, at the Villains event a few weeks ago, she had like 2-hour waits. I mean, there's a lot of guests who want to meet her.
Right, the Villains, hugely popular, even back then, probably the most popular part of the parade.
And now we are going to see Cruella de Vil, and because of a statement you made a couple of weeks ago on our big Halloween show with the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, Vanellope and Wreck-It Ralph are in a truck that has been reused many times through the years.
Right.
And in this case, it will be Cruella de Vil's, the truck behind her.
For many years, Pluto would drive this truck, so I thought it was at least fitting that a dog would still be involved with the truck. But these were real. I don't want to say anything about Pluto, but these are actual dogs, these Dalmatians, so I thought that was a really nice touch.
And I do remember this. I mean, you don't see real dogs in the Magic Kingdom too often, and especially not Dalmatians.
I'm so glad we were able to dig that out. I'm glad to see that again.
And here is Pain and Panic. Pain and Panic right now are on the back of one of the villains' floats.
The ones with the musicians, sort of
right,
that we just saw, but they were made to walk back then. Poor Pain and Panic.
I actually prefer the walk-around characters, sort of like Barbossa used to walk around and shake hands, and guests really love that. Now they're kind of farther away, so I would have liked this a little better.
So the reason these guys are out is because they are leading off the Hercules float.
I think it's very interesting that there is a Hercules float. This was actually about 7 years after the film, so I wouldn't have expected Hercules to be quite as popular anymore.
There is no Hercules. It's the Hercules villains. It's Hades up there, and I'm not quite sure what you called that monster he had, but it's a pretty menacing effect.
But it is, I mean, I don't think Hercules was as popular of a film, and I know people love Hades and all that, but I'm surprised that it was, you know, a float just for them.
Yeah, a full float just for them. I totally understand. And here is Megara, also very popular back then. And even now, very popular.
Yeah, she is, and we've seen her at the villains event and elsewhere.
Hosting the villain event, yes.
So she is still probably the most popular of the characters.
There's much debate about her being a villain, because she's really not a villain according to some.
Oh, I don't know.
We get a lot of comments in our YouTube about that. Why is she at the villains event? She is not a bad person. So
I have no idea. And now we're looking at the ballroom dancers. They are still in the parade, but there's a lot more of them. You only have 6 here. I'm not sure. It's at least probably double.
Right.
Now.
This is the Haunted Mansion segment. Always one of my favorite segments. And you are right. They've definitely cut down back then on the ballroom dancers. But one thing that you'll notice is a big difference on the actual Haunted Mansion float itself.
Right. And I know about this because you showed it to me, and I do not remember extra characters up here on the float.
Yes, it seems that Chip and Dale have got their ghost outfits on. I think that's a fun touch, although I'm so used to just having the hitchhiking ghosts, it's kind of strange to see it now.
Well, I actually like the Chip and Dale to be separate and not to have, well, they're with a different segment now, but I like just the hitchhiking ghosts.
Right. It was still very cute to see it, though, and it's fun to look back 10 years and see the changes.
But I don't want them back there.
You're not petitioning them reappearing on the float. And the always exciting precision drill, the Grave Digger precision drill team. I love them when they do the little spark on the ground with their shovels.
They're always one of my favorite segments, and I don't remember a time when they weren't in the parade.
Yeah, no, they've always been there. And this year particularly, they looked incredibly hot. Like, 'cause, you know, they're doing a lot of work running around and making the shovel thing. They were sweltering by the time they got to us.
Well, I think everybody was pretty much sweltering.
Yeah, look at all the effort they put. A lot of sparks involved there. That's why they have to redo the ground so much. But anyway, yes, always a favorite of mine, and still to this day they appear.
Now, the segment we're going to see now is where Chip and Dale are currently in the parade, except that apparently back then they had Home on the Range characters.
Right. Well, this has always been where the parade sort of loses it a little bit for me when the country segment comes in. So, and I get it. It's harvest, you know. That's the
But you have the country bears, so you love the country bears.
I love the country, and see, the cowboys are different now, you know, and these are, believe it or not, these are Home on the Range characters, very short-lived. I don't even remember their names.
I have never seen the movie, and Clara Cluck is up here now, so you still have...
You have Clara Cluck, right.
Right.
All the time. But it was interesting that they shoehorned those guys in for that particular year to promote the movie. This is different. They must have got this from Fort Wilderness, and they have a bunch of the characters. I see Donald Duck there, and I think Goofy on a wagon.
Except the horses don't seem to want to go anywhere right now.
Well, that's always a problem they had back then with having the live animals, and that's why you don't see as many horses in the Christmas parade anymore. It's hard to control it sometimes.
And there is Donald.
Is that Woody?
Yeah, it's Woody.
And Jesse. And look at there's kids with the beard, like dressed as the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs with the beards and everything.
Grand Marshals, and I don't remember a Grand Marshal, so that's different.
This is even I didn't remember that. That's very odd. And of course, always one of our favorites,
the Scooper.
Scooper. Scooper gets a round of applause no matter where he goes. For some reason.
You know what? They should.
Okay, and I just saw the Aladdin characters. And
oh, look, and here comes, besides Dopey and Snow White, you have Mike Wazowski and Sully also taken by on the wagon.
Another wagon, 2 more horses. The horses were really doing well back then.
And
they're getting a lot of use.
These are the big wagons like what we will ride. They have a really nice wagon ride in Fort Wilderness that we enjoy quite a bit.
And back then they still had the Headless Horseman wagon ride where you'd get on one of these big wagons and be menaced by the Headless Horseman.
Right.
Remember that? Where
yes.
He would chase you and he would actually gallop fast. And
then they did the carriages, but now nothing.
I see Baloo, and here are some characters. There looks like like it's
Alice and they are at the front of the parade now, not at the back.
And they have some of them have masks on, others are holding their masks. So I think it's interesting how the placement. More horses!
Another wagon.
More
I don't remember
and
this.
And there's Goofy. Yes. See, it's always interesting to look back. So I'm not quite sure who. Oh, I think.
There's Lilo.
Oh, Lilo.
That means I bet Stitch is right behind her, and he is.
Yes.
So
Brilliant.
It's really, really fun to watch this.
And the kids, of course, in their costume. That was a lot of fun to see what they did back then. You know what we haven't seen yet, though? The Big Cheese.
Minnie Mouse. Minnie Mouse is on there, too.
There's Minnie, but no Mickey. Mickey must be coming up. I predict Mickey will be making an appearance very soon.
And Mickey almost kicks off the parade, too. I mean, it's almost backwards. Oh, they are in the
Easter.
Yes,
they're
Easter.
In the Happy Easter. So now we know the origin of those costumes.
Unless they came before this. So we don't know if this is the original parade they were in.
And the Happy Easter pre-parade didn't always feature these, what would you call them?
Chickens.
These
dancing chickens.
chickens.
I don't know.
Who knew the dancing chickens 10 years ago?
I didn't remember it. So, I mean, they could even have an earlier start. I mean, there's no way to know.
That's true.
Well, there is if we went back to
See, this is high-quality entertainment right here. No wonder they've switched up the parade. And here comes Horace Horsecollar and Clarabelle Cow.
And they are both in it, but they don't really appear together too much.
And it's the cowboys and cowgirls, and the cowgirl outfits, I tell you, are very different now because they have these very short shorts. These look like can type cowgirls.
Right. I mean, and this is the first year they've done the shorts. They did short dresses last year, but these certainly are more like what you would find in Frontierland.
Something you'd see at the Hoop-Dee-Doo, performing at the Hoop-Dee-Doo, you know. So
I like these outfits. I think, the Hoop-Dee-Doo, those are, I think, Hoop-Dee-Doo type outfits.
See, so we figure these, and it's the Big Cheese himself, Mickey, dressed in Western attire, so very different.
You know what I find interesting is that, each year you say, we say it's not really that much different, the parade and all, from the previous year, but it's incrementally, it has changed
you
in
go
10
back
years
10 years
completely.
We need to dig up something from 20 years ago and see how the changes have been. So anyway, that was our look back 10 years ago at the Mickey's Not So Scary.
And there's those Hoop-Dee-Doo type outfits again.
That's right. And we're going to go back to the party tonight. So if there's anything of interest that we haven't covered, we'll be sure to put that on next week's show. And
now we're switching gears from Halloween into Frozen. And there's a lot of announcements made this week.
Big announcements.
Well, the Frozen Summer Fun over at the studios, a lot of the elements will be continuing through the year.
That's not unexpected.
No, none of this is. And in front of Cinderella Castle, we're going to be seeing, instead of the fairy godmother and Cinderella, it will be Elsa, Anna, and Olaf making it
a castle of shimmering ice.
Yes.
Olaf will be perfect for that. I'd like to see a standalone Olaf do that, actually.
And they will be in the parade as well with Kristoff in the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmastime Parade.
Right, not a surprise there either. Plus, I've heard rumors that they may have a soiree type of thing.
I would not be surprised.
We don't know if it's definitely true, but you'd be able to eat have desserts with Anna, Elsa, Olaf, Kristoff, whatever. That would be tremendous. But the big news is Maelstrom permanently changing to a Frozen attraction.
And it's going to take, it looks like, about 16 months to change over. Right,
so no more back over the falls for us. Although I'm sure the Frozen attraction will be the most popular ride in all of Epcot, probably more so than Soaring. So
it's going to be very busy there. So I don't know if they're going to do something with the former Viking ship, maybe making that into some sort of an area.
Yeah,
you know, because there is a lot of area to Norway not used right now.
And we were just at Norway the other night, and the old meet and greet area has been completely taken down. So wherever they're doing their meet and greets this year, it's probably not going to be there. So it'll be a new location. Lots of changes.
Well, I just hope they keep it to the spirit of Norway and don't make it like all Princess Pavilion.
The Spirit of Norway, is that not the film at the end? I suspect the film has...
The film will probably go...
has seen its last showing probably very soon.
And we've been getting in our last rides. It's going to be closed in a few weeks probably, so...
Yeah, we've ridden 5 times in the last few days, so we're trying to say a proper goodbye to Maelstrom.
And we will miss it.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. And that's another show.
And thanks to Pixie Vacations. Check them out. Book your vacations, your Disney vacations through them.
Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency. The best deals on tickets in town. Check them out.
And Theme Park Connection on the way from the airport or on the way to the airport. They are our original sponsor. And definitely stop there on your next trip to Walt Disney World.
So thanks again, everybody, for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.